Now, open close, right? You can see the open close levels. You can see SPR, RBS, and all of that. So everything, all these reversal points, all these turning points are made on them. Okay, made on them. So what you should do is you need to be able to spot them very quickly. Like if I come here, look at this. Now, what is this? See now, after some time, you don't even have to go into the line chart. Okay, you can spot the levels easily. Now we had these levels if we wanted to sell. Now let's say, how can we refine this level? This is a weekly level, right? That's a weekly SBR. Now remember, I'm sorry, RBS. Oh, no, SBR. Sorry. Okay, the names aren't necessary. Okay, if you understand the logic, it's more than enough. First of all, it was a support. Now it is broken, so we could expect it to act as a resistance. Now, what you could do is, now if you place direct trades on the higher time frame levels, you might have to suffer from a little bit of drawdown. So the best thing to do is mark out the higher time frame level, go into the lower time frames, and then try refining it into those lower time frame levels. Okay, so that, and then what you do is you don't place your direct entry here. You place it from where you refined it. That is the reason we do a refinement, right? If you're placing it here, it says no, there's no point of doing a refinement. So what you could do is mark out your higher time frame level, go to the lower time frame, and then do the refinements. If you go to daily, now in here on the daily, of course, I don't see anything. But if you go to H4, remember the line, we're dealing with price levels. What is this? A resistance. See that? A weekly resistance. Now you might think, oh, the market has already tapped into that. Now that is on the H4, but did the weekly ever tap into that? No. Okay, so that is why higher time frames matter. We will go through all of that. And then look at this. So where did the sell come from? Right there. See that? Like instantly, look at the drop it made. Oh, 300 pips. See? So these are well-planned trades. I'll show you. Yeah, I'll show out of all of that stuff later. Can you see that? Like even right now, where did the sell come from? Once again, from that weekly level. So you see the importance of these higher time frame levels, right? They can be used again and again for intraday setups and all that stuff. See? Selling here, trades here, and even I think it was the buy in here, right? Or is yeah, there was a buy in here using the same concept. Yeah, this one in here. What is this? This is a daily support, right? This right here is a daily support. So what can we do? Go into the lower time frames and do some refinements if you do not want to take direct entries from this zone. If you go to H4, we did have a support in here, right here. You can refine it into that. But if you go to H1, there's something way more clear. The last resort. Okay, in here, what's the last resort we had? We had a support that was never used. See that? H1 support. Why is this H1 support? Now you might wonder, okay, why didn't we use this? Why didn't we use this? We don't have to use this, right? Because we always choose zones, first of all, from the higher time frame. So this where the daily zone was. And then we do a little refinement of it into the H1 zone. Okay, into the H1 zone. So what happened? Okay, so look at the reactions from this. So we had this previous day's liquidity. We will talk about SMC as well a little bit. Okay, a very little bit of SMC is involved. You don't even have to know the advanced stuff, no ranges and all that. Okay, but yeah, look at this. What happened? Oh, see that? Where did this come from? Where did this come from? Right from the H1 level. Look at this. From here, where is your next reversal zone? We have zones here. Buying here, selling here. You can do more refinements if you are on the daily time frame. See? Open, close, or else SPR. Can you see that? Look at the drops. You see the precision, right? You can't make these up. Look at the precision. Look at the precision. Sell, a sell here, or maybe a sell here. Open, close. We call this a dropping point because it broke through. Yeah, we will go through all that. Look at this. Another drop in here. Okay, so all you have to do is just understand. Like even the current buy, I did not take the current buy. Like didn't take a direct entry, but I'll explain once you go into storylines why the market reacted to this open close in here. Can you see that? There's an open close, right? With some liquidity sitting above it here, or maybe here. And then what happened? The market did that. Can you see the precision? Look at this. No drawdown. See that? That is why I keep telling you to practice. Okay, if you understand the logic behind this, it's more than enough. Okay, it is Yeah, more than enough. All you have to do is understand. So there we go. So you see the precision, right? You see the precision, and don't think you can only trade gold with this. You can trade EU, you can trade GU, you can trade NAS 100. Yeah, there are some of my students who trade NAS 100. You can trade that. You can trade crypto, whatever. Okay, but I personally I love gold. Reason is because gold's price action is very clean. Once you understand gold, yeah, gold will be your best friend because you can read this very clearly. Okay, you can read the gold market very clearly if you understand these concepts of storylines, decision points, and all of that. Okay, and trend lines, of course. So if you understand that those concepts, gold, trust me, after you master this stuff, you're only going to trade gold. I can guarantee you that. Okay, and you will fall in love with gold. Okay, because EU and GU, these ones do not move a lot, right? They do not move a lot. Okay, but that doesn't mean you can't trade this. You can trade this. Okay, like for example, where did the cells come from? We had an open close, right? We had an open close here. What you could do is refine it into the lower time frames. What do we have here? SPR. See, always picking up a higher time frame level and then refining it into the lower time frame level. Steps, minutes. Can you see? Now look at this one. Look at this one. If we go to daily, we had an open close where the market reacted to, and then the next day around this area, this is how we do refinements. Around that same daily area, we had this. What is this? Head and shoulder, or as left shoulder. Or as if you go to H1, what can you do? If you go to H1, you have another open close in here. So from these areas, this will be your buy zone, because if you talk about storylines, you will understand this. Okay, we will talk about storylines. So yeah, daily rejects the daily support, and then one time frame low, that is H4. H4 gives you a bullish breakout, so we have that very clearly. And then once again, we're starting from the high time frame itself to start like to pick up our zone. So we have this same daily zone because we do not have anything else on the day, right? We have another one that is here, but we're not expecting the market to drop through there. We will go through them, don't worry. And then around that area, we refine into lower time frames like this, right? We refine into lower time frames, and then what happens? Boom, there it goes. Can you say, so where did the moves come from? Where did all these moves come from? From the higher time frames, right? From the higher time frame levels itself. Like, look at this. There's a nice re-entry in here. What is this? A resistance being broken, right? A resistance being broken, then it turns into what? A support, right? Once a resistance is broken, we know that it turns into a support. But now, how do we know that we could trust this level? Right? That's the problem. How do we know that we could trust this level? So that is the reason why we use confluence, right? That is the reason why we use a confluence. So our confluence will be a trend line. Look at this. Where's this? There we go. We have a break and retest trend line. We call this a break and retest trend line. See, we had a trend line like this, which pushed price down here, and now it is broken. So now look at this. The next candle, if the next candle wants to get into this RBS, we have the trend line and the key level overlapping very nicely. So what happens? There it goes. See that? Re-entries. Okay, you will have some good re-entries. You will have some now. We will talk about everything. Don't worry. Okay, this is just a basic session because we have entries. We have high risk setups. We have low risk setups. We have medium risk setups. Okay, so you need to understand how much you're going to risk for high risk setups, how much you're going to risk for low risk setups, and how much you're going to risk for medium risk setups. We will go through all of that. There's so much more to cover. This is just the basics, but you know this, right? Basics are the foundation to anything. Okay, so if your basics are strong, yeah, you don't have to worry about any advanced stuff because the advanced stuff is using all the basic stuff. Okay, so if you do not understand the basics well, there is no point of going into the advanced stuff. So please make sure you practice this. Okay, don't just watch the session once again once I send you the recording and think, okay, I know this or I know. You don't. Okay, it will take some time for you to understand this. Okay, even with the basics, you will have questions. Now, when I show it to you, it looks very easy, right? It looks very, very easy. But I'm showing stuff in hindsight. So to show stuff in hindsight is anyway, it's very easy. Okay, anyone can do that. But once we start with the advanced session and all of that, at the start of the week, I'll show you what I'm expecting. Okay, what I'm expecting for the week. At the start of a month, I'll show you what I'm expecting for the month. And at the start of a day, I'll show you yeah, what I'm expecting for the day and all that stuff. Okay, so you will get that. But please make sure you understand the basics. Okay, because I'm not a signal provider or whatever. Okay, do not wait for me to tell you, okay, do this and do that. Okay, take entries here, close it here. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna spoon feed anyone. Okay, so you need to do the hard work, practice. Okay, I will always help out. Okay, I'll show you the zones that I'm interested in and all that stuff as well. But please do not 100% rely on that. Make sure you do your own analysis as well. Okay, so because what if I die, right? You can't, could happen, right? It could happen to any of us. So you can't rely on my signals or setups right away. So please make sure you do the practicing as well. You do your own practice as well. Okay. Yeah, let's just look into some zones. You can see this, right? Look at the position. Okay. From open, close levels and all of that. This resistance, I don't think the market tapped. Look at this. All of these are made on these levels. Look at this. Where was this made? Can you see? So I just want to show you that it works. Okay, it works. Doesn't matter if it's GU, EU, gold, whatever it is, it works. See? Look at this. Look at this. Can you see that? So all you have to do is, once again, like I told you, practice. Okay, all it takes is practice, and after some time, yeah, you can call out the high of the week, the high of the day, high of the week, month, whatever. Okay, whatever. So
Brother,
yeah,
I have a question over here. Can I annotate and show you which line?
yeah,
Um, did you annotate on? Yeah. So I think you drew a line around here.
okay.
Yeah, I didn't get the cell, like the resistance that it made.
Those are advanced stuff. Okay, I'll show you.
Yeah.
This one here. Okay, this
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
This
yeah.
one.
This
Yeah.
one, yeah.
So these types of zones are very strong. Okay, these are some advanced stuff. We will go deeply into this because why? Can you see that this level was once used as a support?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so after those levels are broken, it pretty much gets used as a resistance at least once. Okay, before falling. So that is why we use that level because most people, when the market is here, oh sorry, when the market is here, they will ignore this zone. Okay, they'll ignore this zone. They will right away focus on this open close and then this resistance. But we need to understand that below that we have a strong zone as well. So you need to pay attention to that too. Okay, so that is why we marked out those layers. Now we will go into this. These are advanced stuff. Okay, these are some advanced stuff, but we will go into that. Okay, we will go into that. Don't worry, I'll show you how to filter out those unnecessary levels and all of that. Okay, but you see this, right? It works on EU, it works on GU, it works on gold. Whatever you want to trade, you can trade with this. Okay, very simple. And it's very strong. Once you understand storylines, you will see that you're never lost with the direction. Okay, you're not lost with the direction. That's the main thing. Okay, look at this. See, reacting from weekly levels. You could maybe do some refinements into lower time frames, right? Let's see what we had on the lower time frames around these weekly zones. We have one zone here. I think that is too far away. Yeah, came almost into there, but I'll show you. Okay, so you see this, right? It works anywhere. It works anywhere. All you have to do is practice. Okay, practice is what it takes. Like even on the monthly, even from the monthly time frame, you can see the precision. Look at this. Let's see. Yeah, look at this. Where did this cell come from? Monthly open close. See, look at this. This candle in here, this bearish candle broke through this. So first of all, this was a support. Now it is broken. So we could expect it to act as a resistance, right? So what happened? The next month, yeah, you can do refinements if you want to. Maybe this level into this level. I don't think it went into the refined zone, but yeah, let's check. There it goes. Like instantly, can you see that when it taps into high time frame zones? This reaction you get. Like instantly you're up like what's that? See? 430 pips. Like what more do you need, right? This is in one day, one single day. Most people have a 100 pip target for their whole week. But if you trade gold, 100 pips is nothing. You can get it in 1 or 2 hours. That's the thing. Okay. And look at this now. I'll show you something. Don't get yourself confused with this. I'm only showing you the power of these open close levels and all of that. Okay. So of the closing prices, we're not going to even go into the left this much. Okay. We will not do that. I'll show you an example of the closing prices, how strong the closing prices are, but don't think of it deeply once again. Okay, look at this. Where's the high of this candle made? Right here. Okay. Where was the high of this candle made? Right here. Closing prices. Can you see that? Closing prices. Where was the high of this candle made? Closing price. Where was the high of this candle made? Closing price. Okay. Where was the high of this candle made? Closing price. Can you see that? Look at this. Where's the high of this candle made? Closing price. Okay, so now we're not going to rely on this though. I'm just showing you how strong these monthly closing prices are. Can you see that? Look at the entries if you paid attention to them. See this? Look at this. Okay. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. See that? Once that level is broken, it is being used as a support. We have all of that. Okay, so very, very strong. Okay, these monthly levels are very strong. Like, look at this. Even this, you have to have sharp eyes for this. Okay. How did this close? Right above the monthly open close. Broken, right? First of all, this was a resistance. Now it is broken, so which means it is not anymore a resistance, but it is a support, right? It is a support. Then what you could do is maybe refine into lower time frames if you want to, right? Just do something like that, and then look at the reaction from that. Not yet. Oh, there it goes. Can you see who stopped this huge push? Who stopped it? Who put an end to it? The monthly level. Now, if you go to monthly, where was the low of the month created? Where was the low of the month created? Right there. See that? So it's very important. It is very important. Now, I told you something like this right now. Can you see this level in here? What is this level? This is a closing price once again being broken. But this is a very good zone because why? This zone was once used as a resistance. Can you see how this zone pushed price down here? Now it is broken, so it could act as a support, right? It could act as a support. So let's see. Oh, I'll have to play 30 candles, I think. Let's see. No. There it comes. Can you see that? Why did I tell you these types of zones are good zones? Because once it was used as a resistance, it's broken, then it got used as a support. Low of the month. You need to be able to see it as soon as you open the charts. That's the thing. Okay, so yeah, that is pretty much it for today. Okay, we will have another session very soon. Okay, so just what you could do is right now, until you practice this, just use that moving average thing, put the line chart on the candlestick itself. So that way you will know as soon as you see the candlestick itself, you will know if there is a closing price or not. Okay, so like very simple. If you put it here, let me just do it. Moving average. If you set it to 1, okay, until you practice, just do it like this. Okay, use this thing until you practice this. So like after some time, once you even without this, okay, you will know that okay, on the line chart, these are spikes, right? Even these are little spikes, so you know that. See that? Okay, and even these areas, you know that this was a V. So without the indicators or without the line chart, you will see that. Okay, so you will see that. Okay, there is a support. It was broken. It turned it resistant. Blah blah, all that stuff. Okay, so now there are more stuff that you need to think about deeply. So these aren't even that. Okay, this is just the basics. So don't even think this is hard. Don't think, okay, there are 2 minutes. Okay, don't even think of any of that because if you make it complicated at the beginning itself, yeah, it'll be very hard for you to get over that. Okay, so don't even think of it. It's just very simple. All you have to do is just follow what I say. Okay, just see how S and V is played out, see how support breaks, turns into resistance and open closes and all of that. Nothing else, nothing else, nothing more, nothing else. Okay, try to keep it as simple as well because even when I started with SNR, I had the same questions like you guys. Okay, and then after some time, I realized that all my questions were completely unnecessary. Okay, because these are the basics. These are the basics. Stick to this because this will be a very simple approach. Okay, so to do the analysis here with this, like once we complete the advanced stuff and all of that, to do an analysis for the day, it takes only 30 seconds. Okay, that is how good it is. That is how simple it is. It takes 30 seconds to 1 minute maximum. Okay, so please make sure you like follow what I say. Don't do anything more than that. Okay, if you do anything more than that, if you get yourself confused, that is honestly not my problem, right? You're getting confused with something that I haven't even taught. Okay, so do not do that. Do not do that. Just stick to what I say. That's it. Okay, I'm only responsible for what I teach. I don't know if anyone else is teaching SNR. If you've been exposed to SNR, so just completely forget that. Now here you're here with me. I'll even give you my trading plan, what I look for, and all of that stuff. But before that, stick to this. Don't look at anything else. That is what I can tell you. Okay. So yeah, guys, then that's it for today. The higher time frames levels like the monthly, weekly, and daily, they can be used so many times actually. Okay, they can be used so many times, but then again, it will be confused. Like normally, now there is a concept called fresh and not fresh. Okay, so according to that, once the market uses a resistance, let's say this resistance is used. Okay, let's say the market is coming back into that area. Okay, so we don't like normally the chances of this holding is very less likely. Okay, so once again, if you're trying to look for a sell in here, the chances of this happening is very, very less likely. Okay, so we call this a used level. We call this not, this is an unfresh level. Okay, but then again, there's something called decision points. Okay, there's something called concept called decision points. But when it comes to decision points, you can use them like as much many times as you want. Okay, so that's the thing. I will show you decision points. It is a very hard thing actually. That's a little hard to understand the concept of decision points, but I will show you that later. Once it comes into that, you will see when we're going to use fresh levels and when we're going to use unfresh levels. You will understand that. Okay, but as of now, just stick to this. Stick to this. I will show you all that later. Please please practice. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is everyone, if you are okay with this and we so support and SS, no problem, just skip this. But what I want everyone to do is for the ones that are new to this, go to the charts. Okay, go to the charts and then see, just send some examples of how ace, like how supports played out, how resistances played out, how open close levels played out, and all of that. Okay, so at least 50 examples from each. Okay, so a resistance, a support, open close, RBS, SVR, all that. So that way I know you understood the concept very clearly. Okay, so please do it that way. I'll correct them. Send your charts in the group. Okay, I'll always look into that.